Marble Madness was an arcade game that debuted in 1984 and was created by Atari. The game would become so popular that it would be ported to many systems, including the Nintendo Entertainment System. The Nintendo Entertainment System version was ported by Rare and published by Milton Bradley. You play as a marble, you go down a maze filled with all sorts of obstacles, some of which include hungry tube socks, pools of acid, vacuums that'll suck you right up, hammers that'll knock you off of ledges. And basically what you have to do is you have to go through all of this and make it to the finish line before the time expires. As the game begins, you start off by putting your name in, and you'll notice right away how smooth the controls are. Basically what you do is you move the marble around the area and pick every letter that you want for your name. After picking your name, you can pick the degrees at which you want the controls, either 90 or 45. I just recommend sticking with 90. It's just your basic, down, up, left, right, and it works like a normal controller. I've never really tried 45 degrees, but I've really heard that it's like weird, and I don't recommend it. You can't really die in this game. However, you can either fall off a ledge, get taken in by one of the traps, either the tube socks or the acid pools, or if you fall off and land on a very low, like a low ledge or something like that, the ball can break since it's made of glass. And the problem with this is that during these little scenes, like a broom cleaning up the marble, you have the time limit, which is still going. It doesn't freeze at all during these, and that can really screw you over in the end. And according to my partner here, apparently Marble Madness is similar to climaxing.
Just think about it, you were at school, you were playing with marbles, you were discovering the first time ever about how good it felt to play with yourself. And that's exactly the same with Marble Madness, because, you're guiding a marble down this isometric maze, trying to get to the finishing point, and believe you me, it is sometimes when you play it, and I'm not joking you, sometimes you will literally just pass the level by a complete smidgen, maybe 1 or 2 seconds, and it was almost like a climax.
Yeah. Moving on. The controls are very smooth. You don't really feel any friction between yourself and the game. Of course, I could also say that they're too smooth. Because of the fact that there's no friction, a lot of times you can overshoot yourself, or if you're trying to be careful, undershoot yourself. Now, the difficulty of this game is legendary. It's not the most difficult game in the world, but I'm going to tell you right now, most beginners will probably never finish it.
There are many different mazes, many different contraptions, and the NES version actually has an increased difficulty spike, which I noticed because there was acid all over the fucking place. And it being a glass marble, it decided to melt. And I was really surprised looking at some other versions that I was playing to find that the NES version has an increased difficulty spike to it by placing more objects on the maze. And that will give people a stern test, there's no doubt about it.
The visuals in the game are bright, colorful, and all around very nice to look at. It really challenges what the NES could do at the time.
The game, particularly the NES version, for me, is lacking in some areas of sound. Some of the sound bites really don't cut above the mustard compared to other versions. And also, the graphics are a little bit deformed in places, i.e. the contraptions. Why they are marked in pink and black, I really don't know, when the rest of the course is blue, for instance. Kind of detracts away from the experience of the game, but it feels exactly the same as other versions, and you're going to get just as good gameplay-wise experience with the NES version. But if you want the refined version, I suggest you check out, either if you can somehow manage to get hold of the original and get to play the original cabinet, or alternatively pick up the Atari ST version, or if you're a home console owner, I really recommend the Super Nintendo version as the best port to go.
I have to disagree with James on a couple of things. As far as the graphics and the audio, I love it. I personally think that the soundtrack kicks major ass, and I think that if you're talking about the black and the pink on a blue board or whatever, that's just nitpicking as far as I'm concerned. And I personally believe that the NES version is the best version. The game is really hard, but it's one of those games that has that one more time kind of feel. Like, you drop it for one time because you just had enough, and then you pick it up again and you're like, no, I'm going to keep trying. And you keep trying and trying and trying, and you'll eventually make it. But my personal recommendation is the NES port. That's just my personal favorite version of the game.
All in all, Marble Madness is a cracking little game, and like I say, there's multiplayer elements to it as well, and it's just an out-and-out, quick twitch game. Rack up your high score, see if you can get through the mazes the quickest, and that's how you get the best points. And sometimes that is just what you want when it comes to entertaining yourself. You can either tug a lug on your penis, or you can play Marble Madness. It both gives you that very, very quick entertainment factor. That's right. Call me crazy, but there are a few similarities in the fact that, you know, there are balls involved after all. I've been James from Satanic Baked Beans.
And I'm IronFury, and thanks for watching, and take care.